Welcome to River Tales. River Tales is a 30-minute program that will introduce you to fascinating people, take you to interesting places, and enlighten you on important events that happen in our region. River Tales is sponsored by Southeast Missouri Hospital.
On this edition of River Tales, the angry filmmaker Kelly Baker talks about his job on Good Will Hunting, Finding Forrester, and his passion for independent filmmaking. Southeast Missouri doesn't seem like a place where you can see tigers, but the Tiger Sanctuary in Bloomsdale, Missouri is home to some big, beautiful cats. KFES TV in Cape Girardeau has embraced the internet to provide a webcast for local events and sports programming. And Paul Stepp is flying high with his custom-built airplane business in Painton, Missouri. Stay tuned to River Tales. Kelly Baker is known as the angry filmmaker because he has such a passion for making movies, but had a difficult time conforming to the Hollywood system. His skills are legendary and his work is well respected, but when it all comes down to it, he enjoys being his own boss.
My name's Kelly Baker and I'm known as the Angry Filmmaker. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, but I spend probably 6 months a year out on the road showing my films and teaching workshops. I was a sound designer on films like Good Will Hunting, Finding Forrester, To Die For, My Own Private Idaho, Far From Heaven. As a sound designer, I come in after the film's been shot. When they're out on location, all they're trying to do is get the dialogue and get that correctly. And sometimes they can't even do that. My job is to come in and fix the dialogue so it all sounds like it was recorded at one point. I have to put in all the sound effects, work with a composer on the music, and if you have a special scene, something that calls for some odd or interesting sound effects, much like the fight scene in Good Will Hunting, where the entire fight scene was done in his head through his point of view, and so all the effects are kind of garbled and not necessarily what you would hear in a standard fight scene. I create those. While we were making Good Will Hunting is when I decided to make my first feature. I had already made 8 short films that had been seen all over the world at film festivals on Canadian television, Channel 4 in London, Australian television, and it was time for me to step out and finally make a feature. The 2 basic struggles that all independent filmmakers face are, one, funding. How do you get money to make your film? Because it's not cheap to do what we do. With Bird Dog, which was my first feature, and we made it $150,000. Which is a it's a huge budget for me, but a very tiny budget to make a movie. And we shot in 35 millimeter, and I had a cast of 28 and a crew of 30, and it became a much bigger thing than I had ever planned on it being. I'd always imagined my first feature would be like, myself, 2 or 3 friends in the back of a pickup truck with, cheap gear. And this thing just kept escalating. Ultimately, I think we made a really, really good movie, and most of the people who saw it, my friends who said they would help me get distribution, they all loved the film.
You need a short-term loan. I know these business people.
Watch him. He's kinky.
You didn't see the death and destruction.
But I did.
You know, ever since your wife left
She didn't leave me. It's a mutual decision.
I was wondering if maybe you'd like to come over to the house sometime for dinner?
Most of the Hollywood studios and even the smaller independent distributors don't want our films. They're looking for an easy way out. They're looking for an easy way to market a movie. If you have even a minor league Hollywood star in your film, they'll build the whole ad campaign around that. As independent filmmakers who don't have any kind of access to stars and who don't want stars, which is more along the lines of what I do, I have to rely on the internet. I have to rely on word of mouth. I do all of my own booking. I go out on tour twice a year for 10 weeks at a time. I'm on the road. Like a punk band in the 1970s, I will book all the venues. I will come to universities. I'll come to media art centers. I'll show my work. I'll teach workshops. As an independent, like I said, it's getting harder to get our films out there. You have to be stubborn, I guess, and have a single-mindedness. The film never got distribution because I was told by the distributors there was nobody famous in it. That was the knock against it. They didn't have a problem. They thought the acting was terrific, the writing was great, the direction. Nobody guessed that we made it for $150,000. Most of the distributors thought we had spent $1.5 million. I had an amazing crew, an amazing cast, and we put so much into the film. When we were rejected by everybody, that's when I decided, you know what, it's time to go outside the system. That's when I truly started making films for much smaller budgets. My second film, The Gas Cafe, was made for $4,000, and it's 90 minutes in length. Third film, Kicking Bird, was made for $6,000 cash, and I say $200,000 worth of favors, because I called in all the favors that I had. It would be great to have a budget to where, you know, I can pay people, and, you know, we can really do some things that we want to, but as long as I keep control of everything, it doesn't matter what the budget is. For me, it's all about control. The problem with the studios anymore, no matter who's directing, is that the studios still have ultimate say no matter what they tell you. I love being an independent filmmaker because the movies that I make are all mine. Once the film is made, how do you get out in front of audiences? How do people get to see it? Distribution has become the toughest part of filmmaking. It's always more gratifying and satisfying to work on your own films. I tell people when I'm working on them, when I used to work on the larger budget films, I don't do it anymore. I could do something really, really cool at the mixed console and really, you know, bring out some sounds and really do something that, you know, I always thought was pretty amazing. But every time I did that, I'd have to turn around to the director or whoever and say, is that okay? Do you want me to do that? When I work on my own films, I always tell people, I don't have to turn around. I can do what I want, and the only person I want to please at that point is me.
The Tiger Sanctuary in Bloomsdale, Missouri is home to some fascinating animals. The sanctuary provides a safe place to all where we can enjoy the beauty of discovery that we could only experience in the wild. Consisting of a community of teachers and learners, the National Tiger Sanctuary, located in Bloomsdale, Missouri, creates a safe and protective environment for people of all ages. Georgia Woolert, a volunteer for the Tiger Sanctuary, has been a veterinarian technician for over 20 years. It's safety first at the sanctuary. The popping you hear in the background comes from the electric fence.
The Tiger Sanctuary was founded basically because Keith Kincaid and Judy McGee, the founders of the foundation, were very wealthy at one time, and they decided to give back. And they went around to a lot of different zoos and a few different sanctuaries, and while working with the zoos and the sanctuaries, they realized a lot of people do not understand this animal. There's not a lot of information out there, whether it be medically or psychologically or, you know, habitat-wise or food-wise or anything out there to help keep this animal alive. And they realize that everybody loves tigers, and they just make a really good environmental awareness tool. My husband met Keith and Judy about 7.5 years ago and introduced me to them. I've always wanted to work with the big cats, and I've been a vet technician for over 20 years. I always worked with the little guys, and now I work with the big guys.
The National Tiger Sanctuary consists of 8 tigers and 1 mountain lion. They receive these animals from people and facilities from all over the world.
We'll get them from private individuals. We'll get them from zoos that don't want the older cats because they don't look as pretty as the younger ones. We get them from circuses, roadside zoos, Hollywood. We get them from drug dealers, a lot of different places.
Taking care of these fascinating animals is just like taking care of a human being.
We have a few different veterinarians that we work with to take care of our tigers. The kind of care that they need would be just like you and I. You know, you need the proper food, the proper nutrition, you need the proper emotional stability. You need to be told just like a child, that you're great and, you know, built up that confidence. And that's basically what you would do for a child, we do for our tigers. When we're open, we're more visible in front of them, we talk to them more, but we believe, just like you and I, we love our friends and family, but after the 4th day, you guys got to go home.
With each tiger having their own personality, you never know what you're going to experience when taking a tour at the Tiger Sanctuary.
The tigers respond to the tourist. I guess it really depends on the tour, you know, and depends on the tiger also. Mariah likes to smile at little girls. Paul likes to scare little kids by roaring at them, you know. Max depends on the women he falls in love with. Dee will fall in love with certain men. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes, so it all depends on the people, and it really depends on what the tiger, you know, sees in that person. Vincent's the biggest one here. He's the gentle giant. Paul's the smallest. He's the instigator. Max falls in love with women. Dee's the princess. You know, she's the sister. TJ, he's white, so of course he thinks he's better looking than everybody because they can see color and he's different. So, you know, you get to see the personalities as you just watch them grow.
The National Tiger Sanctuary provides a safe and fun environment where we can enjoy the beauty that is the diversity of creation. Traditional television is still a mainstay for most people, but the internet has opened up another opportunity for the local CBS affiliate to fill a much wanted void. KFVS has been webcasting local sports programming for over 3 years, and it's another way of meeting the needs of the public.
If you have gone to a local sporting event in Southeast Missouri or Southern Illinois recently, you may have seen a broadcast crew taping the event. This is the KFVS 12 crew filming what is a newer technology called webcasting.
Basically what a webcast is a live, the way we do it is a live video stream of any type of event. We cover a range of events, a lot of Southeast Missouri State University activities, men's and women's sports, high school sports, football, basketball. We've done a variety of parades. We've done some other ceremonies at Southeast.
Our corporate owners are Raycom Media, and they've been pretty progressive over the years. And they said about 3 years ago they wanted to expand platforms for delivery of content. And one of the ways that they thought would be good is webcasting, which is basically TV on the internet. And so they gave the option to 6 of their 35 or 40 stations to be guinea pigs, if you will, for this project. And we raised our hand because in a market like this, we saw the value of being hyper-local and providing more local content to more people that we just can't do as well with our main KFVS on-air platform. So one thing led to another, and we pretty much embraced it, and it's grown all 3 years up to where we're scheduled to do 75 or 80 events this season.
Stand by live. Live's up.
So the advantage of this is that while we're sort of landlocked as a traditional CBS affiliate on Channel 12, we're not restrained at all on what we deliver on the internet's website. So, you know, before the website, if we were going to show a special local event, we would have to preempt something, CBS or one of our syndicated programs. I mean, we do a lot of local news, but that's not what we're talking about here. Now we don't have to preempt anything. We can present our traditional CBS lineup and syndicated lineup and local news, and still on a whole different platform provide for those that want to see Sykeston play Poplar Bluff football in a week or two. They can watch that without interrupting the schedule of anybody else. So it's the advantage is from a content delivery standpoint, we are better than we were because we can do it more and better and more often and reach more people.
2, stand by 3, hold it. Stand by 3. Ryan, something else.
In order to do a webcast, the KFVS crew requires more than just a camera and the crew. They fill 2 vans with the equipment required to do the production.
When we go out on an event, which could be anywhere in the Heartland, we take 2 vans, one full of crew, the other one full of 3 kits here, which you see in front of you, 1, 2, and 3. We also have 3 reels of cables to connect all our cameras to our main hub, which is right here. And the main hub is protected. It's got 2 lids on each side that come off and houses everything we do. And we also have our audio board, which hooks up to our announcers. It also hooks up to our cameras for camera mics, so we can hear people talking out in the field, football players, baseball players, yelling. We also have 2 computers. One is a primary, one is a backup. We usually use a primary and don't have difficulty with it. Our backup is used just in case our primary goes out and we need it, because it's hard to get another computer on location sometimes. On the back of this is where all our connections go into. We have our 4 cameras, complete with audio and intercom for each of those 4 cameras. We have our 4 input mics for announcers and Nats mics. We also have program in and out for our monitors, and we also have video in and out for DVD players and go back to the announcers so they can see what's going out live on the air. Our second box here is for all our monitors. We have 3 of these monitors, 1 for the announcer and 2 for the director, a program and preview monitor. We also have our computer monitor, which our IT coordinator sets up and sets up our signal over the air and starts the webcast and gets all the configuration set up just right. In our third kit, we have our 4 cameras and 4 tripods. We use anywhere from 2 to 4 cameras on an event. It just depends on how fast the event moves. As such as football, we have 3 cameras. Soccer, we have 2. It just depends on how much action is taking place and how many you think you're going to need for the webcast. So, in essence, all this equipment and our crew and our personnel and our IT coordinator and supervisors, we're all out there. We're producing one product. We're making it look good. When you watch it on TV, it's all seamless and flowing like a professional sporting event, and that's what we strive here at KFVS 12. We strive for professionalism, to put out a good quality product, and all this equipment and behind the scenes is what helps it take place.
Well, you're going to see a lot of people involved in it. It's with the technology is getting easier and better, and you're going to see more and more people involved. I think you're going to see radio groups involved and newspaper groups. Anybody that wants to be better at delivering content to people, I think you're going to see it. So we want to position ourselves as sort of the leader on that. And we've created partnerships along the way with other media. That's worked out real well. We don't want to be selfish with it. We want to enter in any sort of arrangement that will allow us to better deliver more content to more people, and if that means involving traditionally competitive media such as radio, we're going to look at that. We're going to probably do it because it just makes sense. It's a win for them, win for us, and most importantly, it's a win for the consumers, content consumers.
I'm a full-time wife and mom, and I also work as a substitute teacher. You can see why it seems impossible to get a college degree, but with Southeast Missouri State University's regional campuses, it really is within my reach.
I can get a degree without leaving my hometown, and that's important when you have a family.
Getting a college degree isn't easy, but Southeast makes it convenient.
Paul Stepp believes that you should love what you do first, and the job will follow. His desire for building airplanes gave him the opportunity to own and operate his own business, and that has been his greatest success.
My name is Paul Stepp. Our business is Lost Tail Aviation. We incorporated Lost Tail Aviation in 2004. Most of the business is in repair and painting. Sue Stepp is my wife. She works here. Myself and my son, John Stepp. We have a painter and that is here quite a bit when it's time to do that. And we have other people as the jobs require. Well, I've been around aviation ever since Vietnam, and what we did after Vietnam, I decided to start flying, and I was working with the mechanics out of St. Louis, Collinsville downtown airport periodically, and I guess that's what really gave me the motivation to do what we're doing now. I've designed engine mounts and redesigned some things, some aircraft. I have my drafting table in the office. We had a engine mount that we designed for what they call a pusher aircraft or a tractor aircraft. This type of aircraft is a tractor aircraft because the propeller's in front. A pusher aircraft, the propeller is in back. I designed an engine mount that was compatible with either aircraft, and then we patented that. The Oberon that we had that you see the sign up there that featured the HKS 700E when people could afford them, has folding wings on it. That was one of the things that I did for that aircraft. And I put a breakaway control in it, which makes it easier to get in and out of the aircraft. I guess the Stinson would be the very first that we started with as a build, but that's been 15 years ago. But this one we pretty well built here also. But what I did is I bought the plans and the production rights for this aircraft and 3 others in the same line as this. This is a mid-20s to early 30s version, and we have 2 of them now, this one and the one in the back. A man named Jack Hickey is who I bought the plans and the production rights off of, and Jack was really instrumental in a lot of things in the business. The Centabre had fuel starvation in the selector valve and caused the aircraft to go down. And we received it from the owners and rebuilt it from the situation that it was in, I suppose. It was in pretty bad shape. We've had the aircraft for 3 years now. This is the type of fabric that we use on these aircraft for covering them. It comes in 3 different strengths. It's FAA PMA approved through the Federal Aviation Administration, and they stamp this fabric. The weave in this fabric is pretty well identical. There's nothing uneven about the weave. And then when you heat it, it shrinks. You can take this fabric, put it on a 2-inch angle iron frame, and shrink it, and it will distort the 2-inch angle iron frame. That's how much strength that it has on the pull. If you're not careful on a wood wing, you can crush the wing with it. Most people are kind of leery of a fabric-covered aircraft, but if you take aluminum and you go like that, you're going to put dents in the aluminum. This pulls right back up. My wife, that Christmas, we was doing pretty well, and I told her she could have anything for Christmas that she wanted, and she wanted me to buy the kids something, and they had everything they needed. So I kept asking her, and she kept declining my offer. So I bought the Stinson, this airplane, the red one in the back here, and told her it was her Christmas present, but I put it in my name just in case she didn't want it. But it's a 108-3 Stinson flying station wagon. They originally designed it for a commuter, and right now they use them in Alaska and Canada and other places for bush planes because they carry a heavy payload and they've got a pretty decent cruise. This is a metal and fabric covered aircraft. The fuselage and the wings are all fabric, and all of the control surfaces and the horizontal stabilizer and the vertical stabilizer and rudder are aluminum. And it's a 4-place aircraft, and it's very comfortable. The back seats they're like a recliner. I really don't know on what percentage of enjoyment you might put the scale on, but it's pretty high. And another thing is owning your own business. You know, that's kind of a satisfaction within itself. Making the customers happy when they come in. and seeing them, and then taking the aircraft outside and firing them up for the first time, you know, since they were down. You get a great deal of satisfaction out of that. You know, I think I get as excited about it as the customers do. We've had planes from Alabama. We had one that come in from Alaska that was a total build, and I like the variety. And you can't just work on one aircraft and expect to make it, because there's, you know, you have to be very versatile. We have a Jet Ranger coming in here, which is a helicopter, kind of like the military had. And we have from Wings of Hope, we have what they call a 206 Cessna. It's a pretty nice sized airplane, and it'll be coming in here. Flying's not like any other sport, I don't believe. I believe the people that love to fly really do love to fly. You know, it's not like fishing, well, we'll pass it up next week. Every opportunity that they have, they're in the air, you know. I don't know how to express having your own business and friends to help you in it. It's such a reward. And I hope, if you're looking for a career, that everybody would find something that they love to do and work at it. And it will be more rewarding than anything else that you could ever do.
Each month, we will take this journey where there are many places to go. There are many interesting people to meet, and so many new things to see. Join us again on River Tales.